as clever as you think you are. You try to run, but you won't get that far. I'm right behind you like we're racing, like a chase scene. Oh, all your endeavors end with no regret. You play it cool while you try to forget, but it's right behind you like it's racing, like a chase scene.
All right.
This is
we are
it.
live. We are back. This is Alex, Victor Bravo, and Bravo. We're going to be here today for a very intentional live. So anybody that's joining us, what is the subject of today?
Yeah, so we're talking about how selling a house completely as is versus having to update your home yourself, hiring contractors, and then list the property. What are the differences and what are the costs that go against each side?
Gotcha. So kind of weighing out that option of selling it with an agent versus selling it as is.
100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you sell it as is? Can you sell a property as is with an agent?
Can.
You can.
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
So what is the benefit of selling it to an investor like ourselves as is without an agent? Let's start there.
So in terms of a property being able to be sold as is,
Okay.
The house has to be,
Gotcha.
so, the kitchen needs to work. All the plumbing needs to work.
You're talking about selling it with
electrical.
an agent.
Selling it with an agent.
Gotcha.
Even selling it as is still.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you could list it as is, but if the toilets don't work, is anybody buying it?
That's right.
More than likely not. So selling it as is, the advantages are pretty obvious. It's on your terms. However fast that you want to close, a lot of people, ourselves included, can pretty much any transaction in any time period.
Okay.
We just had a closing scheduled for today that was 3 months out. They wanted time to pack up and, had a tenant moving out. There's another individual where, got under contract the other day. He wants to close immediately. No delay, 3 weeks. Let's get it going because he, wants to sell it as is fast and get his cash and move on.
So let's make sure we're clear with anybody out there that's watching this. Anybody that watches it later. What is an as-is sale?
So an as-is sale, everything in the property from the time anybody till the time of how that property's going.
Gotcha.
Not going to be making repairs. You're not going to have to make sure the water's working or anything like that. It is how that property sits on that day is how you're buying the property.
So Mike, if my roof is rotted out, hasn't been touched in 50 years, I got a tree growing through the damn thing, can I sell it as is?
You can still sell it as is.
Gotcha.
However, if you sell it as is off market to an investor versus selling it on market with an agent, there's going to have to be some certain disclosures and stuff like that. You have to fill out those big forms.
Yep.
What is it, like 49 pages those documents are now today? The lead paint, are you aware of lead paint? Even selling it as is, you still have to disclose all that information.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of work.
So if the mechanicals, if my heating and air conditioning system is not working in the property at all, and I want to sell it as is, if I go through an agent, I have to disclose that to the agent then.
You at least know that the furnace is not working. At the end of the day, if you have no idea why it's not working or, you moved away from the property and you just listed it as is from another state and you thought the air was on, but it's not, maybe you don't have to disclose, but any latent defect, you have to make aware.
So in my experience, dealing with agents, a lot of times what I've seen is if the heating's not working, the heating air conditioning is not working in the house might be a complete POS. It might be like in terrible, terrible shape. But if the heating and air conditioning is not working, I'll just use that as an example. A lot of agents will recommend that you get that fixed. Or let's not even say just the heating and air conditioning. Let's say it's the bathroom is outdated. You still have the 1970s bathroom. I'm talking yellow and pink, counters and yellow and pink tub and the whole 9 yards. And it's beat up and it's completely, outdated. And an agent might come to you and say, hey, if you really want to sell your house, you have to update your bathroom.
Exactly.
As a homeowner, what does that mean? Like, if I wanted to do that, I got to go out and find a contractor then at that point and drop. What do you think it would cost for a homeowner to go out there and replace a bathroom, fully update a bathroom?
Fully updated a bathroom anywhere between 10 and 15,000.
10 and 15K. So that means that I'm
standard 3-piece bath.
Right. Yeah. So that means that as a homeowner, if I want to update my bathroom, I'm losing $10,000 to $15,000 off of that the price off of one bathroom. And from what you've seen, if my house is outdated, the whole house is outdated. I got a 3-bed, 2-bath home. It's completely outdated to be the kitchen, the bathrooms, the roof, the heating, the air conditioning. Maybe it still has old baseboard and
right.
Doesn't have central air conditioning in there yet. And I update one bathroom. What does that do to the value of the property?
What does it do?
Nothing,
It's like,
right?
wow, look at this beautiful bathroom, but I'm not cooking in this kitchen.
That's right.
And that's where these things start to add up to where you get into a kitchen project and, on the retail market, a kitchen from a licensed contractor that will do a great job, not for a luxury kitchen, just a standard builder grade, nice kitchen is anywhere between 25 and 35,000. You got to paint the house. Say you were a smoker inside of the house and, that smell is awful. You can't get that out besides, negative air machines and a fresh coat of paint.
Yep.
That fresh coat of paint's going to cost $3,000 to $3,500, and then you talked about flooring. It starts to add up. And time again, I see, people dealing with this to where, and I'm not saying all agents. Once again,
right.
let's totally disclose that. We are not talking about all real estate
not
agents.
at all.
There are great agents in this business.
And a good resource to have. 100%.
100%. However, if they essentially come to you and say, hey, you could sell your house for $300,000 if you do X, Y, and Z, sure, the higher sales price might sound good, but when you get into the math and you really sit down and start adding up that $25,000 to $35,000 kitchen, that bathroom, you said it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. That's 2 bathrooms that need updating. Then you throw in the $3,000 worth of paint. Then you get into flooring. How's the roof?
The trim package, the flooring, all of the rehab work that we will do as investors when we step into a property. If you go out there and do it, I mean, a basic homeowner is at almost double the cost of what our cost will be. And there's no two ways about it.
And double the frustration.
That's right. Not even double the frustration, too. Because then that agent, 90% of the time, there are some good agents that I've seen actually have a good repository of contractors, but a lot of agents will just tell you, you need to get this work done. You have to go out there and find the contractors to do the work. Then you're running the risk of this project running over on time. Every month you own that property, you're paying your mortgage.
Yeah.
So if you're paying your mortgage at $1,500 a month or whatever that number is, that's another $1,500 a month. So if you're delayed by 6 months, people are not in it. That's $9,000.
Exactly. That's time.
Gone.
That's time.
Gone.
And your plans, say you needed to move in 3 months and you guaranteed, we deal with people in the, in the military that need to relocate. They have their orders and they need to be in another state or another country, on X, Y, and Z date. Leaving that up to chance to where, all right, I make these renovations. I'm going to list it on the market and see what happens. At the end of the day, if you were to, go out and find an investor that wants to buy the property 100% as is, it's on your timeline. If you say you want to move in 3 weeks, you move in 3 weeks. If you want to move in 30 days or 45 days, you move in that time period. It's guaranteed,
I'm just wondering what Sean's doing with
Got a couple comments coming in?
what do you got there? Oh, man, my live
Technical
difficulty. That's okay.
But you see it all the time. And once again, sometimes it may be in your best interest to renovate your property,
100%.
resell it for top dollar if you have the equity position to do it, if you have the resources and the
comfort
time
level.
and patience and the comfort level to do it.
A lot of people are not comfortable going and doing a rehab. And if you're not comfortable with it, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble if you try to step in and doing a rehab project. I mean, that's it. What we provide is we provide a solution where we can come to the table, we can look at your property, and you can literally sell it as is. And when we sit down and we break the numbers out for you, is it a possibility that you would make more money if you did the rehab yourself? Yeah, absolutely. Is that a possibility? What's it going to be, though? If it's $5,000 and it's in 6 months from now, that's your call. And we lay it on the line for all of our sellers. You can get $150,000 now that you're going to walk away with, or you're going to net $155,000 in 6 months from now.
Right.
But to me and to most people, and you'd have to deal with all of the headaches of doing that rehab over that 6-month period.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like, I'm not doing a rehab for $5,000 profit.
Yeah.
Because for all intents and purposes, that's what they would be doing. They would be doing a 6-month rehab project for $5,000. There's no way. You're not going to find an investor in this world that would do it. Nobody should be doing a sick. Think about that. You're working because it is a job. Doing a rehab is a job, man. It is an occupation.
Living in
That's
that
right.
job site.
Yeah,
You know, trying
for
to
6
navigate. You
months.
got a house full of kids, and you know you got contractors coming at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, you have to clear your bedrooms if you're painting every room in the house. Go ahead and move all the beds, take all the pictures down, and prep your house. It's a lot.
Right, and it's whether it's us or another investor, and this is not a sales pitch to get people, oh, come sell your house. This is just the reality of it, is the solution that is provided by somebody stepping in and being able to buy the property as is a huge, huge benefit to our sellers. There's no two ways about it.
And this is not saying a property that was built in 2016.
No,
brand new
God,
construction,
no,
new siding, new roof.
Not
Everything is pretty much turnkey, and all you got to do is paint the house and then list it.
That's a different story.
Absolutely, Cole, one of the best agents in the area. You know, whatever market you're in, have them list the property. $3K for a coat of paint. Well served.
Yep, you're talking
We're
about,
talking about people, you know, 1950, 1960, 1970, that have not swung a hammer in their property since they bought it.
Yep.
You know, not necessarily distressed real estate, you know, as a whole, but just properties that are outdated. You know, grandma's house with the shag carpet, you know. Those properties, you know, and buyers today, they want the turnkey product.
Absolutely.
You know, not a lot of people want to buy that fixer-upper house that they see on HGTV because they understand how much work goes into it.
And then another thing a lot of homeowners don't realize, because we're not talking about new build construction homes. We're not talking about something that was even built in the the 90s or early 2000s. Some of these properties that we get into, when we open up the walls, we're shocked.
Yeah.
As a homeowner, if you step in there and you start getting into the walls on some of these older properties, you're going to be like, well, so how does that work? None of my electric is grounded in the property. Now you're talking about a full electric job in the property. You just added $6,000 to your, probably more than that for a homeowner, $10,000.
So imagine if the seller of the property that you just bought in Havity Grace went to open the walls
that would have been great.
and tried to renovate the property.
Knob and tube throughout the house.
You had no clue.
Absolutely. We got completely duped when we bought this property. We did not do enough of our own due diligence when we purchased the property. We stepped in and we
It was a cosmetic rehab.
Yep,
right?
we thought it was going
supposed
to be
cosmetic.
a cosmetic rehab. And very foolish on my part, learning lesson for me. And we went in there, and sure enough, we opened up the walls, and we had knob and tube wiring throughout the house. So that
You had some
all
structural
needed to be updated.
concerns,
Yep, structural
some
concerns.
wood rot.
We had a main sewer line that was still old. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was old tar paper lines. So we couldn't even blow that out with a jetting system.
Yep.
We had to replace the whole
Retail that cost you $6 to $7
it was,
grand.
so it was a big added expense. For us, it's part of the business. It's what we do. It's the expectations that we have, that we are planning and prepping for worst case scenario.
Sure.
For a homeowner, that can be devastating, especially since what you have to realize is that as a homeowner, you are out of pocket any of your construction costs that you're going to have to put into rehabbing your own property. That's out of pocket. Unless you go out there and get a HELOC beforehand and you have the knowledge and experience to be able to use that HELOC to properly rehab your property, which is an option, which we put on the table to people at
100%.
times. If you have a lot of equity in your property and you have the construction background and you have the time behind it, yes, then maybe it's worth it for you to go ahead, take a HELOC on your property, go out there and do the rehab yourself and maximize your gains on the back end. But for the most part, it doesn't work.
For the average American with 2 kids, a wife, 2 dogs, you know, living in a rehab, you know, do they have, you know, adding up the cost, do they have $40,000 or $50,000 sitting in the bank for that renovation? You know, and say you go out and get a loan for $40,000 or $50,000 and then boom, surprise, the sewer line needs to be replaced. Where's that other $6 grand coming from? You know, and these problems happen every day, and it's not, you know, uncommon. Just like Alex's property that he bought, you know, getting into this thing thinking it's going to cost you $50,000 and end up costing
almost 80.
Almost $80,000. You know, it's $30,000 of essentially oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's okay. I mean, but for us,
for you,
we bought it at a good enough price that the numbers still work.
Because for your strategy on the property, you're going to be able to rent the property
100%.
as a high quality property for a tenant and a new family to move in, and you're not playing it for the short term gain. You're paying it for the long term gain.
100%.
If you were playing it for the short term gain, you would probably hurt.
I'd be tight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a lot of things to consider when you're selling your house, and it's best to consult with a real estate agent. It's best to even get us on the phone. You can call us at Victor Bravo. At the end of the day, we don't think it's a waste of time whatsoever. If we come out to a property and we look around and we're like, you know what? We think your property would be best served on the retail market.
We'll let you know.
And here's who I would call. This guy would be able to get it done. We'll let you know.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, if your property needs $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 worth of work, it might not be something that you want to get into to renovate the property and then have to pay all the cost of sale as well.
That's
what a lot of people forget about is, oh, wow, I sold my house for $300,000. Let's start deducting closing costs, commissions, title fees.
20 grand right off the top.
That's $300,000 house. That's $20,000 right off the top. Gone. And sometimes it's well deserved that $20,000 off the top. Other times, is it needed? Are you in a hot market where essentially you could put a lemonade stand out front with a for sale sign and say, hey, come on in, and somebody will buy it.
100%.
Especially in this market, people need houses. So it's important to factor in all those costs when you're thinking about selling or you're getting ready to sell. Think about option A, can I handle a rehab? Can I handle managing contractors? And, do I have the finances to do this? Another thing is what you talked about is time. Do I have the time to wait to A, renovate the property, and B, see if I can get the sales price that I want from what the agent told me?
Yep.
Can I really get that $300,000? There's just so many things to consider
with the time as well. A lot of times, homeowners will not take in consideration the holding cost for a property. You own the property, so you don't really think of it. It's a mortgage that you're going to pay one way or the other.
It's viewed as an asset. Right?
It's viewed as an asset, but the reality is every month that you hold your property, you are paying whatever that mortgage is going to be on the property. Are you paying down your principal? Sure. How much are you paying down your principal?
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's if
Say
you really
refinanced
look at it, it's
5 years ago, right?
You're not paying a whole hell of a lot down on your principal every month. So the fact is, those are holding costs that you have. Every month that you have that property, that's more money that you're putting out into that property.
Mm-hmm.
And unless it's making you money, it's just an expense. So if it takes you 6 or 9 months doing a rehab, and we've watched homeowners do rehabs that have taken a year and a half, 2 years, and it's just
what about that property in the city?
Yeah. It's I mean you have one right now, right down here on Philadelphia Road. That guy has to be, what is he, 9 months into that property right now? He hasn't even touched the house part of it yet.
Right.
He's just been working on the exterior. The holding costs are now going to kill it. Any possible chance of that being a deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you have options.
Yeah.
Don't allow anybody out there to tell you don't have options. Anybody that is looking to sell your house, whether you're looking to sell it with a realtor or you're looking to sell it cash as is, you have plenty of options that are out there. Don't allow somebody that is narrow-minded to tell you that the only way to sell a house is with a realtor and you have to make changes and upgrade your house in order to sell it, because that's not always your best option. There are plenty of options out there. We are one of those options. We can purchase properties cash as is in any state of repair or disrepair. We can step in and provide a solution for you, and we may not be your best answer. Your best solution may be to list it as a residential sale on the MLS, and we'll let you know if that's what you think. But if you need to get out of the property, if the property is in a state of disrepair, we can step in and we can pay cash. We can buy the property as is, and we can truly help you out of that situation.
Yeah. And what is that? Did you just inherit a property where your uncle left you a property, but told you he the property? He didn't leave you the property on paper.
That's right.
And now you have to an estate, and if it was your uncle and you had kids, now you have to probate the estate.
Right.
And essentially, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different things that happen. And once you're a creative option where, hey, we can sit down and show you how to create an estate. And not that a real estate agent can't, but there's a lot.
Honestly, most real estate agents don't. They can't. Most real estate agents that we've spoken to have no concept or clue about how to go through the probate process. Most of them, and not all, by all means, anybody that's listening out there that's a good agent. Some investors don't have no idea. Because the fact is, there are a lot of creative solutions out there. And a good amount of those creative solutions do not end up with us purchasing the property.
Sure.
But if we can provide a solution for somebody, we can come to the table and we can say, hey, if you buy this, or if you sell this property in this way, this will be the end state. Then it's a winning situation.
Absolutely.
And that's genuinely what we're looking to do is to create winning solutions for everybody involved in the situation.
Yep. To see what your options are at the end of the day, it's going to cost you 15 minutes.
That's right.
It's going to cost you 15 minutes of your time to hop on Google, search a couple people up, call them out, have us come in and do a in-home consultation where we'll walk through, look at the different components of the property, and then let you know, hey, this is what our offer might be in this scenario, or if we do X, Y, and Z, we can do this. There's more than one offer that we can provide sometimes.
100%.
We can provide an offer on terms.
Absolutely.
We
do plenty of creative financing deals where the seller sometimes will be the best option for the seller to hold the note, and then we'll go from there. If the seller holds the note for us, then that allows us to pay a higher price. A lot of people don't realize that. So if the seller is able to hold the note, and by that I mean you as the seller become the bank. Who doesn't want to become the bank?
Sure.
So
and how do you list that on the MLS?
What do you mean?
Terms.
Oh, you don't.
Oh, I want to hold the note at 6% interest over 20 years, but then I want you to give me $40,000 down. How do you list that?
We're able to step in and create those solutions, and that's what we're good at is being able to create solutions. So at the end of the day, I think we'll wrap it up for today. I think what it comes down to is really that we can provide solutions, and again, we are not always the solution.
No.
So if you have any questions in regard to how to sell your house as is, reach out. All of our contact information will be in this video or will be down on a social media link. You can go to victorbravo.com. Just reach out if you have any questions. We're always open. One of the team members here are always open to answer any questions that you might have to see how we can best help you out. And again, that doesn't mean that we need to be the ones to step in and help you out. We might just refer you over to somebody else that is better suited to help you out.
100%. Yep. So do your due diligence, just like everything else in life. Call around, get a couple different opinions. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket just because one guy sold a house one time and it was a good transaction. So call around, see what you guys can do. I'm Mike with Victor Bravo. That's Alex, and I really appreciate you guys letting us on your phone or computer.
You guys go out there,